Morning, Honorable Sapo.
Morning, King.
How are you, madam?
I'm not good because I hardly get your emails, King. I'm not good.
I don't know what's happening. I don't know what's happening with you and this email of mine.
I only got them last night.
Ishmael. I think I have to monitor it. Cool. I'm very much sorry. I always go and say, I don't like that. Ma? No. Nami izobuhlungu. Sorry, man. Mina ngiyi-check and ukuthi angazi kwenzeka kanjani angimele kuye. My apologies, Honorable.
Sure.
Sure. Sawona, Honorable Mathule.
Hello, Braking, kunjani?
Ngikhona njani wena?
Hayi, saphila.
Ngivuke yini namhlanje?
Kade ngivukile. Ngibhizi la ngisiza nalabantu engibarejistela ama-companies. Vuke kakhulu namhlanje. Kodwa ilokhuza yakho i-BRRR ngayi-receive ngo-12 o'clock. Makuzosa kube izolo. Yasho ngithi hayi uBraking seyisotsha manje asalala. Braking, why singabanga physical ngoba ngiyathemba sonke sizo-attenda namhlanje. Uvele undihlenge.
Senzela ukuthi urejistele amakhampani akho lapho.
Ngithola isikhathi.
Yebo. Masi physical need why singabi virtual.
Hayi, mina yangithinta lento ukuthi ngempela ngithi mangithi hayibo. Vele sonke sizobe sephalamende vele iviki lethu leli sizwe sibe virtual bo. Ikhona imini obonayo ukuthi zingaba virtual. Hayi lena yanamhlanje. Cool.
Okay, Ronish.
Good morning, comrades. My apology. Good morning, honorable members. Good morning, colleagues.
Morning, Chair.
Morning, Chair. I will comrades. I didn't make a mistake.
Morning, Chair.
Hey, the public is watching, whether honorable member.
Morning, Chair.
Morning. King, may I check with you? Do we form a quorum? Can we start with the meeting?
Can I have just 2 minutes to check?
Okay. Okay, yes. Sir.
Chair.
Yes, Secretary.
Yes, now we can start the meeting, Chair.
Okay. Thank you very much. Let me greet the honorable members of the committee, Office of the Minister, our officials, this morning in the name
Recording
of
in
Jesus.
progress.
And I say, I welcome you all in this meeting, and also to thank God that all of us are still alive and we managed to wake up and come and attend this meeting. So I am looking for cooperation and also to see this meeting being fruitful. And then at the end of the day, we would have managed to come up with a good result, and also would have performed our purpose of the day very well. So on that note, I want to say I am welcoming everybody and I'm opening this meeting officially. Secretary, we are on the items on apology. The second item.
Thank you, Chairperson. Good morning, honorable members, and good morning, colleagues. The apology that I had received, it was from Honorable Ngobeni. However, she is in the platform, but she has indicated that she will have to attend a WIPS meeting at 10, so she will leave earlier. So that's the apology that I received, Chairperson. And then Mr. Lungisal, the PLO, also indicated that he will join, but he might leave earlier as preparing for the minister to the cabinet issues with the minister. Thank you, Chairperson. So those are the apologies that I've received.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you very much. The apologies accepted. I don't know if ever there is still any other apology. We don't want to close anybody out. If there is nothing, then we can move to our third item, whereby we have to consider and adopt the meeting agenda. Over to the honorable members. We are on the item whereby we have to adopt the agenda, honorable members.
Chairperson.
Yes.
Chairperson, good morning, and good morning, colleagues. It's Member Singh. I'm happy to move for the agenda.
Thank you very much, Honorable Singh. Any supporter?
Thank you, Chairperson. But one will request that they assist you to see the hand, because we raised the hand. So we don't want to just come in. We want to exercise our authority. Yes, I'm standing to second the move. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Secretary, please be on the alert, assist me and check in on the hands. Thank you very much. Thank you, Honorable Malimacha. We are now on the other item, which is saying consideration and adoption of 2024 third term committee program. King, we are in your hands. We are now ready to adopt the third term committee program. Over to you, King.
Thank you, Chairperson. Again, I want to greet the honorable members and colleagues in the platform. Chairperson, this is the proposed program of the PC on small business for the third term of the 2024, which is running from the 8th of October till the 6th of December. And then with that shaded part, it indicates or it depicts that those items that the committee has gone through, whereby from the 8th to 11th of October, the committee was in the Northern Cape conducting oversight. So places that they went to was Kimberley, Appington and Kuruman. And then on the 16th of October, the committee received the briefings from the Deloitte and from the Auditor General on the performance of the department and CIFA 2023-2024 annual performance, and also received a briefing from the department itself on its annual performance of 2023-2024, and also received a briefing of the Small Enterprise Development Agency and Small Enterprise Finance Agency on their 2023-24 annual performance. These briefings were received with an objective of developing a budget review and recommendations report, which we normally call it BRRR. That BRRR has been developed and constructed. As it is today, we are going to have the consideration and adoption of this BRRR. And then on the 30th, we were looking at the ways of navigating market access for small businesses. And then on the 6th of November, we're considering to consider and adopt the Northern Cape Oversight Report, which we were planning to be on virtual platforms. Then on the 13th of November, we're looking at going through from the College Advisor on the ease of doing business issues for consideration. We will be in Parliament S26. Then on the 20th of November, we're looking at women entrepreneurs in the South Africa taken through by the Competition Commission, and then looking at entrepreneurial finance imperative for growth and employment. And then on the 27th of November, we're looking at getting the briefings on the 2024-25 Q2 performance report of the department and the entities. And then we were considering that as according to the focus area and parliamentary program, that the week of committees and oversight. So we're considering that from the 3rd of December till the 6th of December, the committee can undertake an oversight visit, which has to be decided where the committee should conduct the oversight visit. Chairperson, this is the proposed third term committee program. So I present it to the committee for consideration and adoption. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much, Secretary. We really welcome the presentation of the third program. And now I'm going to go straight to the honorable members in order to hear from them whether we are ready to adopt this program, or is there anything that we would want to talk about it on the program before the adoption. I'm on the page whereby I'll be able to see the hands of the honorable members. Over to you, honorable members. I see the hand of Honorable Kate Vilankulu. Over to you, ma'am.
Good morning. Thank you very much. I think we need to adopt the program according to me. When I look at it, it covers everything. So I move for the adoption of this program. Thank you.
I see the hand of, thank you very much, Honorable Kate. I see the hand of Babalo, Honorable Babalo Matulelo. Over to you, ma'am.
An honorable Major, Chair.
So I don't see, I did not see it on this side. It's fine. Let's take the one. Okay, now I see the hand of Honorable Malimacha, but I will allow Honorable Matulola first, then Honorable Malimacha. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you very much, Chairperson. I'm very concerned when it says to be confirmed. I think the program we should firstly have an idea or an estimation that where are we going, because if it's to be confirmed, we will adopt, and then we'll be given a place where we did not maybe put our idea on which province we want to go, where, and all those things. I think we need to have an idea where we are going to go in terms of oversight visit, Chairperson. I wanted to just say that one. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Honorable Matulela. Indeed, on our oversight visit, the venue is not yet confirmed. Let's hear from Honorable Malimacha. Over to you, Honorable Malimacha. We'll then come and talk about one.
Thank you, Chair. I was to come on that to say, let's be safe. Let's propose the provinces that we want to go to. In general, the program is very good. It's workable, can assist. Let's just be safe and ensure that we put the proposed destination so that when it's closed in totality. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much. Honorable members, with regard to the item on an oversight visit, the honorable members will notice that now we are having the crisis mainly in the two provinces, whereby those provinces lost the lives of the children in Gauteng, and also, Gauteng province, yes, and also in Limpopo province. And then I was going to say, if we are going to try and talk about confirming the provinces that we would want to visit, we need to put these two provinces as our first priority. Actually, this was an emergency whereby we were supposed to have put on a request in order to visit those areas where kids bought food from the spaza shops and then they ended up losing their lives. So I was going to say, if ever we are going to suggest the provinces, we need to at least talk about those, and then we then come, and if ever we mention other provinces, we can then come and put in the reasons why. But that is my proposal, honorable members. Let's allow secretary and the content advisor to give us an advice with regard to their venue to be confirmed before we can take the decision. Who is coming first, King, you or Dr. Gumede?
Well, Chairperson, what I can say, as it has indicated that to be confirmed, it has to be decided by the management together with the committee, as we have referred to. So, and then we could not be able to determine which province or destination the committee can go to, because the one that we decided when we went to Northern Cape, we indicated to the committee that Northern Cape was chosen because it was the only province that in the previous administrations the committee could not go there. So now, since we have completed the cycle of all provinces since the inception of this portfolio committee, then it should be upon the committee now to develop or decide which provinces or the order of conducting the oversight. However, it's a bit that we haven't yet make our strategic plan, because it has been indicated that we have to do it after the parliamentary one has been adopted. Then it becomes easy if we had a strategic plan for 5 years, then to be able to navigate on how to approach different oversight. I don't know, I can give it to Mr. Kumete.
Yes, thank you, Braking. Thank you, Chairperson. Maybe just to add, honorable members, good morning to everyone. Maybe just to add, honorable members, that as researchers and content advisors, we are getting a directive from the management to say when we choose the areas that we should visit, we should also try by all means to direct the departments that we are holding accountable to direct the resources to the areas of need. There is a document or a study that has been presented by Risenga Malulega that tracks the poverty lines, which guides us in terms of which are those areas that should be priority. And most of those local municipalities, for instance, are in Eastern Cape, and maybe 2 in KwaZulu-Natal, Umkhanyakude District Municipality. There are other areas in Limpopo, for instance, Northwest and Northern Cape, that also need serious attention from the government. So that's the type of data, honorable members, that we've been advised to use in terms of identifying areas that the portfolio committees should give a priority to. However, in light of what the chairperson is saying, this is what I also said to Imenko yesterday, that there is a crisis, honorable members, and in times of crisis, Parliament has in the past risen to the occasion, starting way back from the era of what they used to call the xenophobic attacks. For instance, the chairperson, Mayor Ruth Bengu, was the co-chair of that particular ad hoc committee that visited the provinces that were affected. Also in 2015, in 2021, there was also another issue that portfolio committee and other committees, it was joint committees of parliament during the riots in 2021, where this committee also visited 2 provinces, KwaZulu-Natal and Gauteng, looking at the destruction that was left behind after those riots. So in this case, in my view, honorable members, we are really supposed to have requested House Chairperson to say, we can't wait for December. There is an emergency. We need to go out there and visit the affected areas, because the spaza shop, it's one of the sectors that falls squarely within the Department of Small Business Development and with extension, this portfolio committee. So, Chair, I'm aligned with what we are saying, that the priority, if we only are going to be doing this oversight in December, the priority should be given to Gauteng, mostly those affected areas in Soweto, Naledi, Sharpeville, Boibatong, and then in Limpopo. Let me pause there for now, Chairperson, just to underscore that I'm aligned with what we are suggesting in terms of those 2 provinces that we should give a priority to. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. When you were articulating on this one, our content advisor, I forgot to put in the province where we just visited, because we would also need to go there and see what happened, see if ever the department is really responding positively when it comes to our oversight visit recommendations. So I would put it to the honorable members that whenever we are going to talk about this, let's not forget the Northern Cape, where we have to go back there and check on our oversight visit. Otherwise, it will be a fruitless exercise, because would keep on visiting all these provinces, seeing the problems, and then if we don't go back there, it won't have an impact. So I am now seeing the hand of Honorable Malimacha and then Honorable Kate Vilankulu in that order.
No, thanks, Chair. When I was saying, let's have a strategy, it's very simple. Let's agree with what you propose, that we go to the affected area. That is your Gauteng and Limpopo. Now, the content advisor came with something that we must also try. We take these two and say, we have this where we think when we apply our sense of agency, dealing with the matters on the ground, trying to be relevant and have impact. This is our proposal. We want to go to these two provinces as an emergency. If they grant that, we further argue to say, this was an emergency, but nothing stops us to say, for December, when everybody's going somewhere, we are going back to Northern Cape. So nothing stops us to do that until they answer. Because if we will say and answer ourselves, we'll discourage to even have a try. So let's rather not fail to try. Let's do that way. It's a national matter, it needs a national attention, and a content advisor, you're 100% exactly what I always say. The economy relies entirely also from us. For $1 million to be there, it relies from a rent and a 1 cent. We are the 1 cent of the billion of this country. Without us, there will be no billion. So let's be proactive on that, Comrade Chair, Honorable Chair, sorry about that, for official purposes. Let's do it that way, that our target is Limpopo and Gauteng as of now as emergency. But if they say no, you cannot have those two, then we'll say you streamline to December. But if they allow that this one is treated separately, we still cover the Northern Cape, which I agree with you that people want to see us coming and also re-coming, so that they must not think we only come back because the election, there are other things, because they've got independence in terms of thinking. They can think what they want to think, and you'll find that it matches the reality on the ground. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much, Honorable Malimacha. Honorable Vilankulu.
Thank you, Chair. And I think I'm going to agree with the Honorable Malimacha. But what I wanted to bring forth is that maybe it won't be easy or simpler for us to go to the two provinces, but we need to come maybe in mentioning one province that we can go, bearing in mind that we still need to go back to the Northern Cape as agreed as committee members. So my suggestion will be, if it's only, we are going for oversight for only 3 days, let's go to Limpopo. But if the days will be more than that, then we can couple it to go to the two provinces. First suggestion is that let's go to Limpopo. If the days are more than 3, then we can make use of the two provinces for us to be able to go to the Northern Cape in December. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. I think
Chair, there's a hand from
I see the hand of I see the hand of Honorable Sapo. Yeah, I'm gonna recognize Honorable Sapo, but let me comment on what the Honorable Member Kate said. Limpopo is a huge province. You think of the 5 regions that are there, and then also the emergency that happened in Gauteng, whereby it was not even given as an example of those areas that need to be given a priority. But what I can say is that I've heard one other honorable member, though it was not in this committee, giving a suggestion that if we can go, maybe we say we apply for this emergency visit, oversight visit, then we can take 1 day, go to Gauteng, visit the spaza shops, and then move over to Limpopo, finish off that week. So I was saying, let's put that also in our mind, that when we visit, let's not just do it just for the sake of visiting. It's like when we go to Eastern Cape and Mpumalanga, we cannot just go there 2 days, 3 days, and then we said we'd have done our work. It's going to impact on the results. whereby would be looking at the impact of our visit, whether we did the thorough job or it was just on the issue of visiting for visit. I don't think we should take it on that way. But I'm giving it to the honorable members to talk on it. And then thereafter, when we are done, then we can request the secretary to quickly put on an emergency request from the office of the House Chairperson. If he agrees, then we can go. But also Northern Cape, we need to think on the way in which we should allow the department to respond to our request. If we can say we're going on December, they will say 2 months was slated. Maybe if we give them 6 months, then after 6 months, we can then go back to Northern Cape. Maybe we visit another province thereafter. December, we visit another province, and then thereafter, we go to Northern Cape. But I'm putting it to you, honorable members in the committee. Over to the honorable member, Sapo.
Thank you very much, Chair. Good morning to you and honorable members on the platform and our support team. No, Chair, I'm not far from what honorable members are raising, but I was going to suggest that let us just be clear and focused to say our target is these 2 provinces, is Gauteng and Limpopo. Now, because there are emergencies in Gauteng, let us make a submission for an emergency oversight in Gauteng. Then we then say, in our target then for an oversight visit, which will be for every committee in December in Limpopo. I'm raising that, Chair, so that we know what we want to do. We focus and we see what we want to achieve at the end of the day. Making a submission for 2 provinces for an emergency visit might not necessarily hold weight. So that is why I'm suggesting that let's just focus on Gauteng, where there is a crisis now, then we take Limpopo as our actual visit for December. Thanks, Chair.
Thank you very much, Honorable Sapo. So it will mean that if ever we go to, I see the hand of Mafagani, I will allow him. If ever we are saying we are going to request for an emergency visit, then do we agree that we'll have a day in Gauteng and the other days we go to Limpopo? Whoever is going to come in, please assist us in that direction. Honorable Carol, over to you.
Good morning, Chairperson, and good morning, colleagues. Chairperson, I do not think we will have an impact if we do 2 provinces. A much needed committee visit to Gauteng, it is needed, we need to do it. But for us to say 2 days and then we go to 1 day and then we go to Limpopo, I doubt it's going to work. We've seen how exhausting the travel is of committee visits, and also we cannot leave the problems on the ground at that specific province and go. If we can say no, we are only going to Soweto, for example, because it's impacted by the issue of poisoning and all of that, and then we are only attending to that one specific area in Gauteng, then I would agree. But also that one specific problem is not isolated. There are many problems of poisonings in spaza shops across Gauteng. And you know, Gauteng, when you are in Soweto, you are 100 and something kilometers away from Tsakani and from Kwatema. And you are another 100 and something kilometers away from Ko Hammanskraal and in Soshanguve. So Gauteng on its own is vast. And for 1 day, we will not do justice. I think we need to get to the objective, why we want to do the visit. Let's have them in 1 province at a time so that we are able to reach maximum results. Thank you very much.
Okay, Honorable Member Carol, if I hear you, you are saying the first province will be Gauteng, the second one will be Limpopo, and then the other one will be Northern Cape, and then we come with the rest. If I hear you well, But my example or my suggestion was based on only the spaza shops whereby there was this problem. But I think I hear you. Your reasoning carries much weight. But honorable members, I'm going to now request that whoever is going to come in, give us the direction and then we close the matter. I am seeing the honorable member Matsulo Molozani, then follows Honorable Babalo Matulela, in that order.
Thank you, Chairperson, and good morning, honorable members and our parliament official. Chairperson, I think, like as we've just put it, that if we go to, let us attend those spaza shops that already have a problem. Because remember, you attend one spaza shops, but the message will be reached to other spaza shops that the portfolio committee was here raising 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We cannot be able to all the spaza shops. I will support I will support that we attend those ones that are having a problem. We can even, if it's a period of a week, we can even do a Gauteng as well as a Limpopo, Chairperson. It will depend on our seriousness, what we want to achieve on a day of the oversight visit. Thank you, Chair.
The Honorable Member Matulelo. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you, Chairperson and honorable members. You requested that we must direct. Let's firstly say we leave it as to be confirmed only in principle of applying for a emergency visit. Then if we are not winning for that emergency visit, we just go to Gauteng. Then the rest will follow. Thank you, Chair.
Okay. I hear you, honorable members. Thank you very much for the fruitful discussion when it comes to confirming of our venue. So we have had to, let me say, we will in our management committee put in all the discussions that was put and the direction. I think I agree with the honorable members as they give the directions. But the last decision will be taken by the management committee. And we are thankful for the direction given. Thank you very much. Can I then request for an adoption of this program? Honorable members, the Honorable Member Carol Mafagani, over to you, ma.
Remember, Chair, that Honorable Bilankulu did propose for adoption. So I think it will be we second it as per the discussion that has taken place.
Okay, I hear you. I see the two hands, Honorable Carol Mafagani and Honorable Matsulo Molozani. Carol first. Honorable Carol, over to you, ma. Honorable Carol. Honorable Molozani.
Chair, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now. Yes.
Okay, I second with all the inputs.
Okay, thank you very much. The program was being adopted. The suggestion was put forward, and then there is also a supporter or a seconder from the honorable member, Carol. I don't want to close honorable. She did put the hands down. Honorable Matsulo Molozani.
Chairperson, okay. I was going to support the motion of the adoption of the report.
Okay, thank you very much then. We are done. Now we can move to the other item on the agenda. Okay. If you can bring back the agenda on the screen. Hello, King.
Yes, Chairperson.
Yeah, I was saying we are now ready to move to, we have adopted the third term committee program. Now we are moving over to consideration and adoption of the 2024 committee budget review and recommendations report. So we are on that one. Who is going to take us through?
It's me, Chairperson. Thank you.
Over to you, our content advisor.
Braking, do I have the sharing rights? Braking.
Yes, Secretary.
Okay. We're Braking on your side?
Yes, I can see it.
No, it's fine. Morning once again, honorable members. Morning, colleagues. In this 2024 installment of the BRRR. Chairperson, the report, it's a 41-page document. We are not going to go through page by page, but there are areas where I will spend maybe 2-3 minutes, particularly the financial performance, the overview and assessment of service delivery, and then under section 7 and section 8, which is the observation and recommendations, we'll go through one by one. Honorable members, the document is divided into 8 sections. The first one is the introduction, which starts from page 1 to page 5. The second one is the overview of the strategic and operational environment, which starts from page 5 to page 8. The third one is the summary of the 2023 recommendations that the portfolio committee made. The fourth section, it's the financial performance, which starts from page 18 to page 22, including the AG report on page 22 and 23. Then there is an overview and assessment of service delivery performance, which is on page 23 to page 26. The overview of the entities from page 26 to page 33. Then observations from page 34 to 39, then recommendations from 39 to 41. Honorable members, like I indicated earlier, on page 1, it's just the introduction of the document. I'll just glance over this section, which basically indicates that we have now officially received the annual reports of the departments that report to this committee, including the entities that report to the department, which is CFA and CEDA. Then the purpose on 1.1, it's the purpose of the budget review and recommendations report as outlined in section 773, subsection 3 of the Constitution, and the act that was created to ensure that we hold the executive accountable. Then 1.2 is the methodology that was followed by this committee in reaching this BRRR. On the 16th of October, we received the briefings from the department and entities. We also received the briefing from the AG with regards to the performance of the department and entities. On 1.2, on 1.3, it's basically the mandate of the committee as outlined in the Constitution. 1.4, it's also the mandate of the department, in particular, the Constitution and some of the legislations, in particular, the National Development Plan as well, the chapters that are relevant to the department. This also include the Economic Recovery and Reconstruction Plan, which was adopted for implementation by government during the height of the COVID-19 pandemic. Chair, then 1.441, it's CEDA, just the introduction of CEDA, when it was founded, the legislations that are relevant to CEDA, which is the PFMA and the Companies Act. Then it's CIFA, also when it was founded, the relevant legislation, which was the Section 3D of the IDC Act of 1940 and the PFMA. Then 1.5, it's an outline of the report, honorable members. Section 1, it provides an introduction or a brief overview of the portfolio committees, the department and entities mandates. Section 2, it outlines the primary policy areas of emphasis for the department and entities. Section 3, it revisits the 2023 recommendations to see if any of them have been addressed or implemented. Section 4, it considers the department's financial performance against its allocation for the financial year 2023-2024. Then Section 5 deals with overview of the service delivery performance, including programs performance and key performance indicators. Section 7, it covers the committee observations. Then Section 8, it covers the recommendations, the proposed recommendations of the committees. Just to remind members, Chairperson, that this is your document. Ours is really to assist you in terms of putting it together and bring forth those areas or issues that you might want to consider going forward. As you will see, maybe the theme of the document is focusing on the medium-term development plan. It also focusing on the strategic plan of the department that will be presented next year in April, including the annual performance plan of the department and entities. In our oversight visit, honorable members, there were serious issues with regards to key performance indicators of the department and entities. Members raised serious objections around that. And also when the AG appeared before the committee, they also raised or flagged same issues that the manner in which the performance indicators of the department and entities are crafted, they actually need serious scrutiny. So I took that into account when I developed this BRRR report. Then Section 2, honorable members, is the overview of the strategic and operational environment. Basically here we're looking at the National Development Plan, its alignment with the Sustainable Development Goals, the areas of interest to the Department of Small Business Development is Chapter 3 and 6 of the NDP. We look at the relationship between the NDP and the medium-term strategic framework, which is really the building block of the NDP towards the Vision 2030. Then Section 2.3, it's the Economic Reconstruction and Recovery Plan. It's really the plan that was developed at the height of the COVID-19 pandemic, the plan of resuscitating the economy, which was battered by the aftermath of the COVID-19 pandemic. Then 2.4, we look at the State of the Nation address, the last State of the Nation address during the 6th Parliament, which was presented by the President. Then 2.5, it's the summary of the key performance priorities informing the 2020-25 strategic plan. It's that strategic plan that is now, honorable members, coming to an end, including the MTSF. Then we look at the 2023-2024 annual performance plan. Section 3, it's this, honorable members, was circulated in WhatsApp group and also in your emails. We called it the synthesis of all the previous key committee recommendations, but this one in particular, it's for the 2022-2023 recommendations and the responses from the department. So I'm not going to go through this one, honorable members. I'm sure you have read it during your spare time, and you have also determined if some of these recommendations have been actually acted upon or they are still pending. Then Section 4, under the overview and assessment of financial performance. Here, honorable members, the department was appropriated 2.529 billion for 2023-2024 financial year. The department disbursed 2.485 billion with just over 44 million rands unspent funds, or 1.8% expenditure variance on annual budget. Honorable members, this is well within the target range of 5%. However, we're comparing this to the previous financial year, 2022-2023, where spending to the tune of 25.14 billion was recorded. Expenditure this time around is marginally higher compared to that previous year. However, that variance of 44 million rands is double the amount of 19 million rands under expenditure that was recorded during the previous cycle. As a result, the spending fell from 99% to 98%. It's just a 1 percentage point decrease. This trend, however, remains evident throughout the sixth administration. It may be less than 5%, honorable members, but we keep recording it throughout the sixth administration. As you see on this report on table 2 here, this is basically the financial performance of the department, and the variance which is flagged as red here. This is the underspending with program 1 underspending by 7.4 million rands, with program 2 underspending by 23 million rands. This is the biggest culprit in terms of the program's performance. Annual expenditure for program 3 was 99.3%, which is not really bad, but there was also an underspending emanating mostly from the vacancies, the compensation of employees. The trend is the same with program 4 as well. The expenditure is good, but the underspending is as a result of vacancies from the senior management staff and the employee compensation. Then in terms of the report of the Auditor General 4.5, the department obtained a clean audit. We recommend the department for having achieved that. However, the performance of SEDA and CIFA, they remained stagnant with an unqualified audit with findings. According to the AG, the root cause of stagnation was inadequate oversight by management to ensure the controls are implemented to ensure credible reporting on performance information. This was the case, honorable members, last year for both entities, CIFA and SEDA. Furthermore, of concern is that the AG indicated that out of 6 MTSF indicators, the portfolio has only achieved 4, which equates to 67% of the target indicators, with 33% in progress. So we are left with 4 months, honorable members, towards a full cycle of EMTSF. The department only achieved 85% of its targets and spent 98% of the budget. CIFA achieved 30% of its targets for 2023-2024 financial year, while the expenditure came to 88%. 30%, honorable members, it implies that 70% of the targets were not achieved. Then SEDA achieved 100% of its targets. However, there is a contradiction here, honorable members, that we will raise when we discuss SEDA, that the targets is 100%, but the expenditure is way less than 15%. I think it's somewhere around 19% financial performance. Then section 5, it's the overview and assessment of service delivery performance. The department has 27 output indicators. It is also reporting on 27 annual targets in the 2023-2024 annual performance plan. Like, as I've indicated earlier, it achieved 85%, which is an improvement compared to the 56% it achieved in the previous cycle. Over the 5-year period covered by the strategic plan, the highest achievement attained by the department was 86%, and that was in 2020-2021 financial year. As reported under the Auditor General section, the AG indicates that out of the 6 targets, we have said this, it's only 67% that was achieved, 33% is still remaining. Here, honorable members, we are also highlighting the performance of the department in terms of the for instance, under administration, this is where the department actually achieved the clean audit. All the indicators were implemented successfully. Whilst the program reports that all 4 of the targets were achieved, this is one area where we left it with a question mark. The vacancy rate was not maintained at 10%. 10% is usually the threshold, honorable members, for the public sector. Your vacancy rate should always be less than 10%. In this case, the vacancy rate at the department as of 31st March 2024, the vacancy rate was 13.5%. It was not less than 10%. Otherwise, it accomplished a representation in women, for instance, of 54%, whereas the threshold is 50%. People living with disabilities, it achieved 3.7%. The threshold is 3%. So it did very well overall, particularly under Program 1, including, of course, the clean audit. Under Performance 2, honorable members, the Program 2, 7% improvement from 33% during the previous financial year to 40% should worry the department. So it means during this current financial year, Program 2 achieved only 40% of its targets. As noted above, where significant underspending was recorded, it did not achieve its targets, and also this is where most of the underspending of 23 million rands was recorded. The program reported success towards the implementation of the SMME Focused Local Policy Framework, where 285 as opposed to 50 of its targets were achieved. Also, the SEMSP program, it also recorded a success. There were a number of other successes, honorable members. For the sake of this report, we are not necessarily mentioning everything that was achieved under Program 2. Like, there are areas of underperformance under the business infrastructure, for instance, of SMMEs and cooperatives, where only 5 out of 7 were completed. Another notable area of underperformance was the program's failure to submit to the minister for introduction to Parliament the Business Amendment Bill. This, honorable members, relates to the discussions that we have just had, because this is one of the legislation that is supposed to assist the committee and the country to deal with the issue of the spaza shops, in particular, the issuing of licensing and the issuing of permits. However, honorable members, there is a policy that was developed by the department and gazetted by the minister in February this year, which was circulated for the country to respond. Then under Program 2, the department reports successes in the implementation of TREP. This program is implemented via CIFA. A total of 20,509 TREP beneficiaries were supported financially and non-financially. Furthermore, the department and its entities supported 345 cooperatives financially and non-financially. The IMEDP as well achieved significant results when measured against the number of targeted informal micro-enterprises located in townships and rural areas. The department reported that it achieved 2,045 informal businesses were supported through this program. Some of these beneficiaries, honorable members, we visited them in Northern Cape. The oversight report is being prepared for the members to also contribute. So one of the key areas where the department underperformed is around the issue of which is really the MTSF target, which is the SMME and cooperative funding policy. The department reported to the committee that the policy was approved by the cabinet and published for public comments on 28 April 2023. Comment window was reopened between December 2023 and February 2024 to accommodate a request for submission of additional comments made by the newly appointed DDG and CIFA. This one is really a concern, honorable members, because it's not just an annual target, it's an MTSF target. It was there in the strategic plan of the department 2020-2025. This basically implies that for a period of 5 years, the department has actually struggled to implement this particular MTSF target, with employees getting salaries to implement this thing, but it has been unable to finalize it within this time frame. We are only left with 4 months to finalize the MTSF 2020-2025. I doubt if they will be able to do it within that space of time. Also, honorable members, it's around another notable area. It's around the CSP. We visited one of the projects, for instance, in Northern Cape, which on paper was registered as a beneficiary of the CSP. But when we were there, honorable members, we were told that that particular beneficiary was not assisted because there were issues with Northern Cape Economic Development Agency. The Northern Cape Economic Development Agency was supposed to have appointed a consultant or a service provider to provide training on that particular beneficiary, but that was never happened. Then on 4.4, the enterprise development speaks to the issue of the red tape reduction awareness program, where the department reports that they visited 30 municipalities to roll out the program. The provinces are mentioned there. Then that's it, honorable members, with regards to the section 5, which speaks of the overview and assessment of the service delivery performance. Then coming to the entities, which is CIFA and CETA, we are basically giving a background to say there are 2 entities that report to the department. However, there is a move towards the amalgamation of those 2 entities, including one from National Treasury, which is the Cooperative Banks Development Agency. Then under 6.1, which is CIFA, it's just the background in terms of when it was formed, how many entities were collapsed to form CIFA, which is the SAMAF, the Kula Enterprise Finance and Industrial Development Corporation Small Business Activities. CIFA was operating under Section 3D of the IDC Act. Therefore, in terms of the PFMA, it was an entity that belongs to IDC, even though it was reporting to the Department of Small Business Development. Then, in terms of the structure of the CIFA itself, honorable members, you will recall we had a discussion again in Northern Cape around this one to say CIFA is divided into, in fact, uses subsidiaries, joint ventures, and associations to provide services to SMMEs and cooperatives. And those ones are listed there under Table 8. Then, in terms of the summary of financial performance, CIFA, during this current financial year, the NGAC disbursed just over 2 billion rands and facilitated almost 100,000 jobs. In terms of the programs division, the KCG, the total take-up there was 851 million. The direct lending loan program disbursements were 426 million. The informal micro enterprise finance disbursements were 319 million, and wholesale lending came to 443 million. Then Table 10 below shows a graphic illustration of CIFA's performance right from the period 2012 up to now. It also shows the MTSF period. It also shows the financial year 2023-2024. Honorable members, since CIFA was since CIFA was incorporated in 2012, it has disbursed a total of 16 billion rands into the economy. The number of jobs that it has facilitated since that period, number of finance of entities that have been financed since that period, it's around 709,000. Jobs facilitated, it's almost 1 million rands. The large chunk of that amount, which is about 13 billion rands, went to Black-owned entities. The 6 billion rands went to women-owned entities. The 3 billion rands went to youth-owned entities. During the MTSF period, honorable members, CIFA disbursed, the MTSF period would be from 2019 to 2024 or 2020 to 2025. CIFA disbursed an amount to the tune of 9.6 billion. The number of SMMEs that were financed, it's around 380,000. Jobs facilitated, 480,000. Again, when you look at the financial year under consideration, CIFA approved 1.3 billion. It disbursed 2 billion. Number of entities that were financed, it's around 80,000. This is just a background table, honorable members, for you to read at your own leisure. Below, one area of that we look into, honorable members, it's around the cost-to-income ratio, which really measures the profits vis-a-vis the cost, which ranges between 79 during the 2019-2020 financial year, 93% in 2021, 56% in 2022, 71 and 59 in 2024. So as of 31 March 2024, the total assets for CIFA stood at billion rands from 6.8 billion rands during the previous financial year. This is an increase of about 3.7%, honorable members. It is not bad. It means CIFA's financial position is actually healthy. The total liabilities increased slightly during the period under review from 1.4%, 5.51 billion rands during the previous financial year, to 5.58 billion rands during the current year under review. Overall, there was an increase in the net asset value of the group by 175 million rands. This is not bad, honorable members. It's a good statistics. Perhaps an area of interest for CIFA would be its operational efficiency as depicted by cost-to-income ratio of 59% during the period under review. And if we look at the entire period, the MTSF period, we actually did an average. We calculated an average, and it was standing at 72% over a 5-year period. While a cost-to-income ratio of around 50-60% is often seen as acceptable, with advance in financial technology, usually called fintech, CIFA can actually reduce this number or this ratio to a range of, say, between 30 and 40%. There is a room to maneuver for CIFA, honorable members, to reduce that 59% to, say, 30 to 40%. Furthermore, accumulated impairments have arisen from 40% in 2019-2020 financial year to 60% during the year under review. CIFA reported its loan book declined by 496 million to 1.2 billion from 1.6 billion rands in 2022-2023. This, honorable members, was due to increased impairments. The committee is hopeful that this is one of many areas Productivity South Africa will look into during the implementation of the business turnaround and recovery program, which is BRRR. This is one of the programs, honorable members, through an MOU between Productivity South Africa and CIFA, that Productivity SA will look into in terms of turning around those businesses that are struggling, even including those that are struggling to pay CIFA. If you look at the provincial spreads, honorable members, this is one of the areas the Portfolio Committee has emphasized that when you come to Parliament and report, we need to know how much money you're spending in Gauteng, in Limpopo, in Northern Cape, in Eastern Cape, etc. Over the last 5 years, the committee has been tracking how the department and its agencies distribute resources equitably to the provinces. It has repeatedly expressed its dissatisfaction that the usual suspects would be your KwaZulu-Natal, Durban in particular, your Western Cape, your Gauteng. If you look at the expenditure, for instance, in Gauteng, it tops the chart with 637 million rands. It's followed by KwaZulu-Natal, Durban in particular, at 337 million. Then you have Western Cape with 302 million. The combined for just these three provinces, honorable members, came to 1.3 billion. Then you look at the Northern Cape, it came at, the expenditure there was 23 million rands. And then Free State, it's 30 million rands. If you look at other provinces as well, like your Northwest, the expenditure, CIFA expenditure there is also very, very, very minimal. In provinces like Limpopo, for instance, in Eastern Cape, you'll find that even though the expenditure is reasonable, but most or the chunk of the expenditure goes to MFIs and RFIs, not necessarily to cooperatives and to entrepreneurs. So it goes to these MFIs and RFIs. Honorable members, here we are saying, moving forward, Parliament plans to use data to direct resources to where they are needed the most. In that regard, 10 municipalities in KwaZulu-Natal, 10 municipalities, there are 2 in KwaZulu-Natal and others in Eastern Cape have been identified for possible piloting. The department and agencies would have to show how their funds would reach Stats SA identified regions of poverty when submitting their APPs and budgets to Parliament for approval. Then, honorable members, 6.2, we look at CEDA, which is also the agency of the department. It was created in terms of the Public Finance Management Act and also the Companies Act. Then, in terms of the summary here, honorable members, we look at Program 4. We look at Program 1, expenditure under Program 1. Program 1 of CEDA is not usually like with CIFA, with the department and all other agencies. You'll find that Program 1 is actually administration. With CIFA, administration, it's actually Program 4. So Program 1 here took the greatest portion of the budget at 824 million, but the actual expenditure was 726 million. So there is an under expenditure on Program 1, honorable members. There are areas of success that are reported under Program 1. For instance, the program achieved all of the set targets, e.g., the number of people to attend entrepreneurship awareness sessions. Honorable members, I'm underlining this one because this is one of the areas that was raised sharply by the members in Northern Cape to say an indicator of awareness, and then you have a target of 20,000, but the actual number of the attendees was 30,000. Should we really use these indicators going forward as a measure of the performance of the entities and the department? You look at the number of township and rural-based businesses supported with non-financial business development. CEDA registered 23,500 as opposed to the annual target of 18,000. So is the SMMEs and cooperatives supported with training, mentorship, and coaching. The target was 20,500, and then this program achieved 24,329. I think it will assist members of the committee to understand exactly if you speak of the SMME and cooperatives supported with training, mentorship, and coaching, what does exactly this mean? How does it translate to the revenues? How does it translate to the sales? How does it translate to the profit margins of the entrepreneurs? Under Program 2, again, the allocation under Program 2 was 166 million, but Program 2 could only disburse 158 million. The target under Program 2 were to support, for instance, 2,268 SMMEs and cooperatives through the incubation program, and 54 SMMEs and cooperatives with equipment and machinery through TTA. As of 31 March 2024, through the incubation program, the program had supported 2,268, meaning the target was achieved. And then also 50 SMMEs and cooperatives through the TTA were also supported, meaning under this one, the target was exceeded by 4. Under Program 3, the expenditure there, it was the Program 3 was allocated 295 million, but it could only disburse or spend 129 million. And in the process, recording an underspending of 166 million. Again, honorable members, consistent with the 2 other programs, the Impact Sustainability Program surpassed its targets. Under the program, there were targets, for instance, that 1,000 SMMEs and cooperatives will be supported with quality improvements. But CEDA supported 2,667. Also, another target was 1,000 SMMEs and cooperatives will be supported with productivity improvement. Then CEDA registered a success of 2,035 that were supported. Also, the third one, under SMMEs and cooperatives whose turnover has increased by 5% per annum, the target was 700. Then CEDA achieved 1,428. The last one, the target of jobs created was 8,000, but CEDA achieved 10,364. Then under Program 4, the total, only 207 million was disbursed of the 214 million. There was again an under expenditure. For the 4th time in a row, CEDA received unqualified audit with findings. Like CIFA, CEDA's performance outcomes stagnated. There were material findings on reported performance and the usefulness of performance information. This is the information, honorable members, that was presented by the AG to say the committee going forward will have to pay particular focus to CEDA or CEDFA moving forward. So Section 7, we now look at the observations of the committee. Having reflected on the annual reports and annual financial statements of the department, CEDA and CIFA for the 2023-2024 financial year, the Portfolio Committee herewith record the following observations and recommendations for consideration by the department. The committee welcomes and applauds the department for receiving its 3rd consecutive unqualified audit opinion, which is usually referred to as the clean audit, with no material findings on performance information, and its 2nd unqualified audit opinion with no major findings on annual financial statements. The committee wishes to encourage the department to continue to ensure that implementation of the audit action plan is monitored on a regular basis to enable the team to curtail any repeat findings. 7.2, the department's financial spending performance is stable. However, it decreased slightly from 99% in 2022-2023 to 98% in 23-2024 financial year, which is a drop of 1 percentage point. As a result, the amount that was underspent in the 2023-2024 financial year increased to 44 million rands from 19 million rands during the previous financial year. The underspending is negligible in percentage terms and is well within the target of a variation of less than 5%. Nonetheless, the committee would like to see the funds fully committed and fully utilized. The committee also observed on 7.3, the committee also observed that employee compensation as well as goods and services account for most of the underspending on financial indicators. A pattern that may have defined the department during the MTSF period is that all 4 of the department's programs underutilized their financial allocations, primarily due to unfilled funded positions. The positions are funded, honorable members. It's not just unfunded positions, but they are funded, meaning there is a budget for these positions. On 7.4, on the contrary, the committee notes and welcomes the filling of 2 crucial positions, namely the DDGs heading sector policy and research, as well as the DDG for the enterprise development, innovation, and entrepreneurship, and the most recent appointment of the Director General on a permanent basis. Honorable members, this was done after 31 March 2024, but we are just mentioning it here to say we acknowledge that the DG has been appointed on a permanent basis and the committee welcomes that. There is no doubt that this will bring much needed stability to the department. It should be observed, however, that one DDG post remains vacant by the end of 2023-2024, as do many other senior management positions. As of 31 March 2024, the vacancy rate remained above the threshold of 10%. On 7.5, it is not unexpected for the departments not to meet their annual targets. But it is alarming when it fails to meet the MTSF target, more especially in an environment where the SMME funding gap exceeds 300 billion. Measures to scale up access to finance for SMMEs and cooperatives is one of the key deliverables for the department. The committee notes that the committee notes the clarifications that the SMMEs and cooperative funding policy was approved by the Cabinet and published for comments on 28 April 2023. Comments window was reopened between December 2023 and February 2024 to accommodate the DDG's request. The deadline for this target was not met, as the final inputs were received almost at the end of March 2024. The committee believes significant progress could have been made during the past 5 years. On 7.6, similarly, and in light of ongoing tension between local and foreign-owned spaza shops, the committee is not happy with the delay in finalizing the review of the Business Amendment Bill. In his 2022 SONA address, the President stated that the bill will be referred to Parliament before the conclusion of that financial year. Successive APPs of the department from 2022-2023 financial year, 2023-2024 financial year, and 2024-25 financial year make commitments to finalize and refer the bill to Parliament. The committee is aware that the department is working tirelessly to finalize the draft bill, including gazetting the National Business Licensing Policy in February 2024. However, adherence to timeframes is also very crucial. On 7.7, the committee takes note of the government's transition from the medium-term strategic framework to the medium-term development plan with great interest. In particular, the government has enlisted the help of non-state sectors such as experts, think tanks, academia, business, labor, and civil society to create a plan that will guarantee economic growth of more than 5% annually, the creation of more than 1 million jobs, and an increase in investment directed towards more labor-intensive activities across the main economic sectors. The committee is hopeful that the department and entities' strategic plans 2025-2029, these honorable members will be presented to the committee next year maybe around April. And annual performance plan 2025-2026 will include performance goals that focus on achieving the MTDP targets. These goals should ideally include the number of quality jobs created, not just facilitated or sustained, the impact of support given to beneficiaries rather than the number of recipients receiving support, and the degree to which the departments and CETFA assistance results in the elimination or total eradication of poverty, especially in areas that Stats SA has identified as being affected by poverty. The ones I mentioned earlier, honorable members, there are 2 local municipalities in KZN, and then there are more than 10 local municipalities in Eastern Cape that have been flagged by Stats SA for serious attention by the state. Then on 7.8, the crystallization of key performance indicators has been a matter of grave concern for the committee. The committee believes that the department and agencies prioritize chasing numbers above assessing the impact of their support on recipients. During its oversight visit to Northern Cape, the committee identified several interventions that may not result in real impact on the ground. For example, there were numerous instances where beneficiaries received training, but when probed further regarding how the training benefited them, be it increase in sales or revenues, skills to turn around or grow the business, etc., it became apparent that the objectives of the interventions start and end with training. They are not meant to guide or handhold the beneficiaries throughout the entire value chain process. This includes distribution of utensils, equipment, machinery, and so forth, without first identifying the need of the beneficiary. There is thus a mismatch between the intervention and the need of the beneficiary. 7.9, in its report to the committee, the AG notes that one of the foremost challenges facing the portfolio meaning it's the combination of the department, CIFA and CETA, is the poor quality performance indicators and targets. Several instances were noted of indicators that do not meet the usefulness criteria. This is particularly the case and in fact concerning where the department and agencies outsource training of, say, 20,000 beneficiaries to a service provider or a consultant and count this as having met the target without linking the training with key metrics such as the growth in sales, the growth in revenues, or the growth in profits. On 7.10, furthermore, the committee has in the past lamented the deliberate obfuscation of targets. For instance, the SMMEs and cooperatives, they are lumped together instead of separating the two. Financially and non-financially, they are also lumped together instead of separating to say we supported maybe 15,000 cooperatives with financial assistance, as well as enterprise located in township and rural communities. The committee's objection to this is on record. This reporting methodology conceals the fact that there is limited financial support or assistance reaching targeted beneficiaries compared to consultants. In other words, you'll find that some of this assistance is actually directed or implemented via the consultants or service providers. And as a result, the biggest beneficiaries of these programs end up being the consultants or service providers. Very little assistance is directed at rural enterprises. If we are to compare the amount of goods or the amount of resources that goes to township or rural enterprises, there is very little that go to rural enterprises. And also there is a little budget that is directed to assisting cooperatives. Hence you find that all the time SMMEs and cooperatives indicator will be lumped together to hide the fact that cooperatives are not necessarily benefiting from this department. Then on 7.11, with respect to disaggregating expenditure per province, district, and local government, It is only CIFA that has begun complying with the directive of the committee. But once more, this breakdown of how resources get distributed to the provinces presents a negative image and in the process demonstrate how isolated other provinces are. The funding allocations of 23 million rands in Northern Cape and 30 million rands in Free State by CIFA is insufficient and demand a paradigm shift in how resources are distributed fairly across the provinces. On 7.2, the committee is noting inconsistencies in terms of what is being reported in the statutory documents, being the annual report, and what it finds on the ground. In its recent visit to the Northern Cape, for example, part of the committee visit oversight included a visitation to clients whom on paper are recorded as CSP beneficiaries. Yet, due to challenges at NEDA, the consultant to train the identified beneficiaries not being appointed, some CSP beneficiaries have not received training. This information is not reported nor disclosed in the annual report. Instead, it's only TIKZN and FDC that are referred as having challenges that led to Program 2 and Program 3 not fully achieving their targets. And then on 7.13, the committee's observations in the Northern Cape raise questions about the department's benefit from establishing MOUs with provincial investment and promotion agencies. What services do PEPAs offer that cannot be done in-house or through SETFA, or in the past through CETA? In Northern Cape, the committee was informed that the target which was training was not provided to the CSP beneficiary because NEDA could not appoint a consultant to undertake the training. In other words, the department transfers funds to NEDA or to PEPAs, and then PEPAs or NEDA employs a consultant. Once more, this relates directly to how DSBD programs are structured or designed. If PEPAs do not perform, Program 2 and Program 3 also get affected. This has a significant ramifications for the DSB's overall performance and budget. The committee is noting the challenge of red tape, which continues to hinder the growth of small businesses in the country, with little effort being done to address its impact. In the past, the committee gave platform to the department to present the regulatory reform implementation plan. This target is recorded in the annual report as having been achieved, but there is still uncertainty on the part of the committee as to how does this plan help SMMEs, cooperatives, informal traders and street traders, hawkers and spaza shops to overcome regulatory challenges. The literature on red tape identifies national sphere of government as the most serial offender when it comes to red tape and ease of doing business. The universal description of the term itself as the rules, open quotes, as rules, regulations, bureaucratic procedure, and processes that are excessively complex and which impose unnecessary delays or inaction, cost that exceeds their benefit and or is no longer effective in achieving the purpose for which they were originally created, close quotes, implies that the focus of the department should be directed to the national sphere of government where regulations, licenses, compliance standards, and administrative procedures, to name the few, are issued. Not necessarily the municipalities. The municipalities only issue permits, honorable members, in terms of the bylaws. So the question here is why the focus on the municipalities instead of the national sphere of the state. Then on 7.15, the committee is observing that some documents or plans are reserved for approval by the minister. Under Program 4, it is reported that the target was achieved because the, open quote, regulatory reform implementation plan was developed and submitted to the minister for approval, close quote. Although the minister's approval is uncertain, we're not sure whether the minister approved this document. The target will be achieved. The target will be considered or recorded as having been achieved So that is how it is. That is how it is reported in the annual report. We don't know whether the minister approved this regulatory reform implementation plan, but it is recorded as having been achieved by the virtue of having been submitted to the minister. Then on 7.6, furthermore, other target descriptions are ambiguous to genuinely assess the performance of the department and entities. For example, there is no clear distinction between the regulatory reform implementation plan and red tape reduction action plan, and why other documents, for example, the sector forecast and hybrid incubation and digital hub support strategy, the national entrepreneurship strategy, the township economy revitalization policy implementation plan, reports on the SMMEs who participated in the SMME incubation program and digital hub program are approved by Expo. The AG has identified this area, the smartness of indicators, for more committee examination. On 7.17, on CIFA/SEDFA, a matter that is currently on the table for finalization before the conclusion of the strategic plan 2025-2029 and APP is that of implementing the Northwest Oversight recommendations, especially the proposed amendments to the guidelines that governs MFIs and RFIs. The committee reports that it has not yet received or been shown the updated policy guidelines by CIF that incorporates its suggestions. This might therefore delay approval of the SEDFA strategic plan and APPs come March or April next year. On 7.18, in addition, there is a level of apprehension that the value proposition of the MFIs and RFIs in the era of financial technology is failing to resonate with the committee. The committee observation is that the use of intermediaries is tantamount to outsourcing, more especially if their value add, the value add of the MFIs and RFIs cannot be determined. CIFA disbursed more than 760 million rands to MFIs and RFIs, fewer than 6 enterprises during the previous financial year. For the sectors like agriculture, where experts in the field are needed to evaluate applications, the committee is not opposed to SEDFA partnering or appointing adjudicators from the relevant DFIs like Land Bank, like IDC, or even from the commercial banks like ABSA, for instance, to assist with evaluation of applications relevant for that particular sector. There are sectors, honorable members, that by their very nature are very complicated, and they will require that SEDFA in-source experts, like sectors like energy, for instance. You need people who know the sector to do the evaluation of your applications. But some applications are simple, straightforward. They can be handled in-house, especially in the area of fintech, which is often regarded as an equalizer in the financial services space. Then on 7.19, the committee is quite concerned about CIFA turnaround times in considering and approving application. CIFA stated that its turnaround time for direct lending was 88 days, about 3 months, as opposed to the target of 30 days or 1 month. As a result, the program only scored 30% during the previous evaluation. On wholesale lending, CIFA reported that the turnaround time of 131 days, this is approximately 4.5 months, against a target of 50 days, which is 1.5 months. As a result, the entity scored 38% under this target. As AG noted in the deliberations with the committee, CIFA achieved only 30% of its targets for the previous financial year, while spending 88% of the budget allocated. There was, honorable members, a variant of 500 million rands from CIFA to SIDA. It could be, CIFA was picking up that they won't be able to achieve some of their targets, hence this environment. There is always an explanation or a reason behind the environment, which is often associated with non-performance. Then the last observation, it's on SIDA/SEDFA. The committee is pleased that SEDA met and exceeded all its 24 indicators, which equates to 100% performance achievement, even though it could not spend all its budget. It recorded an underspending of 19% of the entire budget of 1.5 billion rands. The committee has noted all the AG's concerns, including poor performance of incubators, which the AG cited as lacking SEDA governance structures. For instance, lack of SEDA representation on the board. I specifically included this one, honorable members, because again, in our visit in Northern Cape, we were not aware that SEDA has been advised to include some of its officials to the board of the incubators. So AG is aware of this. It's one of the areas that they have identified as a shortfall in terms of the incubation. They are actually recommending that each and every incubator that is funded by SEDA, there should be someone from SEDA or an official from SEDA who will sit on the board of the incubator. Then we end there, honorable members, with the observations. Then under recommendations, the first recommendations 8.1, the AG's main message to the committee is that it should monitor the implementation of procedures and provide strategic oversight to guarantee the financial statements and performance indicators, to guarantee that financial statements and performance indicators are backed by accurate and credible information. It should also keep an eye on the appointment of suitable candidates and make sure that action plans are carried out timeously and effectively. The committee will review quarterly reports of the department and entities to track progress. As the medium-term development plan nearing the completion, this is being done, honorable members, by the Department of Planning, Monitoring and Evaluation, and the departments and entities prepare their 5-year strategic plans and annual performance plans. The committee will from now on closely monitor key performance indicators. The committee will interrogate their level of smartness, quality of the key performance indicators, and the extent of impactfulness. The department and agencies' assistance to the sector will be gauged in terms of jobs created, not just jobs sustained or facilitated, improved sales, revenues, and profits in the case of training and other capacity building interventions, improved Gini coefficient, and to keep track of poverty lines to the beneficiary households. The household circumstances of each beneficiary should be assessed and understood by the department, and all beneficiary global positioning coordinates, GPS, should be known by the department. Honorable members, this will greatly assist the committee when it conducts oversights, because this is one of the challenges that we keep facing, that when we visit the project, some of these projects are not known by the department and entities. Yet, if you include the GPS coordinate of each and every beneficiary, it's very easy to reach those beneficiaries, even without the assistance of the entities. The portfolio committee can literally go there and do the oversight. So we are saying here, it should be one of the conditions that when you qualify for assistance at the department, these things should be enclosed in your application. The Department of Agriculture, for instance, they started doing this thing way back. I think it was during the 5th administration. When you apply for funding within the Department of Agriculture, you should also include your GPS coordinates. Then on 8.3, the filling of vacant funded posts should be expedited and finalized before 31 March 2025. If this target is not achieved, the committee reserves its right not to approve the strategic and annual performance plans of the department and entity. The AG 8.4, the AG's concern about the lack of consequent management that has not been decided yet because of internal investigations is being noted by the committee. The AG asserts that the Acting Director General started the investigation on 4 January 2024, and it was still ongoing at the end of the financial year under review. the Director General is being urged by the committee to take corrective action and provide input to the committee in the upcoming quarterly report on 27 November 2024. 8.5, the department should consider its association with PEPA's. SEDA's national footprint is far much wider than PEPA's, which are located in the provincial headquarters. For instance, the PEPA in Northern Cape, it's located in Kimberley. In KZN, it's located in Durban, which is TI KZN. In Gauteng as well, it's located in Johannesburg. So we only have about 9 PEPA offices countrywide compared to SEDA, which is found almost in every small towns. Unless there are strong grounds to maintain this partnership, all activities or interventions earmarked for delivery through PEPAs should be transferred to SEDFA before 31 March 2025. Then 8.6, the minister has, for reasons not known to the committee, deferred the appointment of the advisory board, as was mentioned in the most recent BRRR. In fact, it's the 2023 BRRR. A schedule for the start and completion of this process should be included in the upcoming quarterly report. The quarterly report will be presented to the committee honorable members on the 27th of November, 2024. Then 8.7, the SMMEs and cooperatives funding policy is the MTSF target. It has been mentioned in all 5 successive APPs without any major success. It is highly unlikely that it will be achieved before 31 March 2025. In its next quarterly report, the department must brief the committee on the steps it plans to take, specifically corrective action and consequent management. Then 8.8, in order for the committee to effectively discharge its responsibility of monitoring the departmental programs, it would like to be provided with a list of 345 cooperatives that received financial and non-financial support before the end of quarter 3. This is before the end of 31 December 2024 of the current financial year. This is, honorable members, is based on the report or the information that was given to a portfolio committee. So we need that list of 345 cooperatives so that the committee can actually do oversight on the cooperatives. Then on 8.9, to arrest further decline in audit findings of the agencies, the department must move quickly to monitor and assist agencies to implement the AG recommendations. The accounting authorities, alternatively the board of directors, must be held accountable for improving control, for proper record keeping and ensuring that complete, relevant and accurate information is accessible and available to support performance data. The executive authority should hold the board of directors, the executive authority being the minister, should hold the board of directors accountable for poor performance of the entities. SEFA's 30% achievement of its targets should be clarified to the committee in its next quarterly reporting on 27 November 2024. SEFA should consider disposing of its property portfolio and focus on its mandate. Access to affordable office space and business premises is a challenge for many young and aspirant businesses. These properties could be given to the Department of Public Works for refurbishment before being leased back to cooperatives and SMMEs for a nominal charge. You will recall, honorable members, that some of these properties, in fact, we were there. In Northern Cape, there are some of the SEFA properties that were there. There were also municipal properties that they were there. Others, it's Department of Public Works properties that were given to Northwest Development Corporation. But this is one entity, honorable members, the Northwest Development Corporation, that is underperforming. We are sitting with a memo stroke petition from the Garankuwa Industrial Business Chamber, where they are actually entreating the portfolio committee to take charge of those particular portfolios. But it's a matter that is before the committee. We'll report to it in due course. Then on 8.11, the relationship between SEFA and ABSA through KCG needs further cementing. For a long time, the committee has maintained that SEFA lacks sufficient reserves to support the millions of SMMEs who require funding. However, SEFA is able to de-risk thousands of SMMEs in order to make them eligible for loan from commercial banks through instruments like loan or credit guarantee schemes. De-risking a startup is what new entrepreneurs need to launch a successful business right off the ground. Moreover, it helps them get closer to getting startup funding. With over 90% of startups failing in a few years after their launch, de-risking is something that can help lower this percentage. The committee supports this program and wish to see other banks actively participating in the program. Then on 8.12, when AG briefed the committee on 10 October 2023, the repeat material non-compliance finding with Article 45 of the Companies Act was mentioned, where loans had been provided to related companies. The two companies were not approved by way of a special resolution adopted by the shareholders within the previous 2 years. The AG has once again flagged this matter as unresolved. SEFA's subsequent presence should address this issue for the committee's benefit and highlight the corrective actions being taken to address an adverse finding. It's one of the reasons, honorable members, that SEFA audit findings is stagnating, is not improving, because if you look at the previous BRRR report, you will find that this particular issue was flagged, but the AG report once again that there was no action taken by the management at SEFA. Then the last one, honorable members, the department and entities should galvanize SMEs and cooperatives in the provinces like Free State, Northwest, and Northern Cape. Financial support directed to these provinces is alarmingly small compared to other regions. The agencies must conduct a need assessment to better understand the obstacles that hinders SMMEs and cooperatives in those particular regions from seeking financial or non-financial assistance from SEFA. Unless otherwise indicated, it is indicated, honorable members, that we need feedback in others on the 27th of November. Unless otherwise indicated, responses to the above recommendations should be submitted to the National Assembly not later than the 3 months after the adoption of this report by the NA. Chair, this is the 2024 BRRR report. It's still a draft. It's now the opportunity for the members to make inputs, amendments, additions, subtractions, where they feel maybe that some of the issues are not adequately addressed or they are over addressed. I'll pause there for now, Chairperson, and then while I'm handing back to you. Thanks, Chair.
Thank you very, very much for the presentation. Our content advisor, we welcome the presentation. And in the meantime, I am going to allow our honorable members of the committee to say something with regard to this presentation, talk about the observation, the recommendations, and whatever they would want to talk about. Not forgetting that all this will be done, and the agreement at the end of the day will be done in favor of assisting the life of an African individual who will need our help at the end of the day. So I am saying this, that as we are going to go into the discussion, I remember in our committee meeting, we did thank the department for a clean audit. And that does not end there. The clean audit must be supported by the work of SEFA, SEDA, by the work of the Department, Economic Development, by the work of everybody, and then on the ground, who is supposed to make sure that the life of an African is being assisted and improved. Honorable members, I would allow us to interrogate the presentation, and thereafter we'll have a way forward. If I can see by a show of hand. Who would ever want to take a bite? I am checking. I don't see a hand. Honorable members, am I audible? I see the hand of Honorable Webster. Thank you very much, Ma, for breaking the ice. The others are still quiet. Okay, I'll keep on checking. Let me allow your Honorable Webster to come in. Over to you, Ma. Honorable Matsulo Molotani will then follow after you. Over to you, Ma.
Thank you very much, Chair, and thank you very much to our content advisor for the work that he has done on this report and the work in general. It is always very thorough, and it is a true reflection of our deliberations and the contributions that we've made. I have a few areas of clarity, and then I have a general comment that I want to give. The first is around CEDA. I just want some clarity from SMO about CEDA having achieved its targets, but having underspent. I'd like us to just analyze that a little bit better so that we're able to contribute more effectively to that aspect. How what are the implications of that? And what does it actually mean that you've achieved your targets, but you've underspent? And I think it speaks to it's either you are under targeting to begin with, or there is something in the reporting that is wrong in that instance. And I just want him to let me know if I'm correct in that and to give us a bit more of a comment on that. I am really, really grateful because one of the things we've been raising persistently is one, the poor quality performance indicators and targets, and the lack of meeting the usefulness criteria. Thank you for capturing that. I think it's very important because ultimately this is the problem that we have in this department, because you have reports that always look like something is happening. But when you look at the state of SMMEs broadly and their performance in the country, it's clear there's something that's amiss and there's something that doesn't align in that sense. I think that speaks to my next point as well, about the reporting methodology. And thank you for highlighting the issue also on financial assistance. The CFA not meeting their targets is incredibly worrying. And I think that it's something that we need to take up even beyond the report as a committee, because that is the biggest challenge for SMMEs in this country. And CFA not meeting their targets is something that we need to be loud about. It's something that we need to address. It's something that we need to make sure we're not allowing to happen on our watch. That is my general comment. And then lastly, I want to say that even looking at the previous comments even looking at the previous contributions of the previous committee, there very clearly needs to be a robustness about how we engage and how we do our oversight and accountability role as this portfolio committee. Listening to all of this and just actually contrasting it to the real performance of SMMEs and to the numbers that we see, for me, shows that we really are going to let down our people if we don't play our role as a committee. And that really is just as a last broader comment and an appeal to the committee that we become very robust in how we deal with the department, because while sometimes the reports can look like things are going well, things are not going well. And it is
an injustice to the economy, but ultimately to the people of South Africa who suffer from poverty and unemployment. Thank you.
Thank you very much to the Honorable Member Webster. Thank you for agreeing that really the report captured all what we have raised. Over to the Honorable Member Matsulo.
Thank you, Chairperson. And let me welcome the report that has been presented. I'm also on the queue that the report covered almost everything. And Chairperson, to be honest, there are a lot of improvement according to this report when you go through it. And it's not easy for an entity to get a clean audit. We can do so, we can say whatever, that majority of entities fail to get the clean audit. And if you check with these entities, they've been getting a clean audit, even though here and there it needs some attention. I think all that we need to do as the committee chairperson to assist them to have to reach that clean audit that we want. I've seen there that we need to assist CIFA and SEDA to implement audit findings. I think in doing that, chairperson will be assisting that and those two entities to be more and more effective and to improve on what they are already having. Thank you, Chairperson.
Thank you very much, the Honorable Member Matsulo. I've seen the hand of Lerato Ngobeni, and then thereafter it will be Comrade Carol Mafagani, followed by Comrade Kate Bilankulu, followed by our Honorable Member Sapo, in that order. And then I see after Sapo, then there will be the Honorable Member Babalwa Matulelwa. Yeah, in that order, comrades. Oh,
thank you very much, Chairperson and honorable members. Good morning. Thanks very much. I do want to also commend the work of the team. The report is quite thorough and really does make one feel like one was absolutely there. And so I do want to add my 2 cents to that. I just needed clarity on the Northwest Development Agency in terms of the recommendation there too. It is my understanding that it's a dysfunctional group, and so I just want to get a sense of clarity with regards to the recommendations for the way forward. That's it from my side. Thanks. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much, Honorable Lerato. Honorable Carol, over to you, ma'am.
Thank you, Chairperson. While the department's financial performance shows huge positive aspects, significant concern regarding underexpenditure, staffing issues, program-specific challenges, broader economic implication, accountability, and stakeholder engagements indicate skepticism about its effectiveness in meeting the needs of SMMEs. I think addressing these issues is very critical in building trust and ensuring that government initiatives align with the realities faced by small businesses on the ground. So the report is positive, but also, no, let me end there, Chairperson. Thank you.
Finish off, Comrade Honorable Carol. finish off.
No. I mean, there are huge challenges on the ground, and this positive we are seeing on paper, I wish it was also a positive on the ground, and our people, the surety that our people are getting the full service of this department. And at this present moment, I can't say that they are not. SMMEs are disadvantaged also by this department. So for now, I'll leave it there, Chairperson. I'll tell you my thoughts later on. But for now, I'll leave it there. The report is positive. The team is doing very well. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. I agree with you, Honorable Carol, that the team is doing very well. Well, we did not see the positive performance on the ground. It was only 1 to 3%. 4, 5, 6 was not good according to our observation. But the way we have agreed that we are not going to go to Northern Cape and leave it as it is. We are going to go back there after 6 months. I'm telling you, I'm not a prophetess or a false prophetess. This will yield good results. The other thing that we must learn to put on our mind or on our tongues is that whenever we want something, we must say it out, and it will happen. So I'm really thankful that whatever we have said, it has been well captured. Thank you, Honorable Carol. Honorable Bilankulu.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Chair. Let me firstly thank the content advisor for the good presentation or the report that has been captured so well. The report seemed to cover everything that we raised and agreed upon as the portfolio committee. We really appreciate. And finally, Chair, I think it's just to conscientize the department that in everything that we picked up or raised that need to be implemented, they must work hard in implementing them. The recommendations by the AG and also the observations that we picked up during our oversight in the Northern Cape. But as far as the report, to me, it captured so well, and I really appreciate it. I think this is an indication of everything that we spoke about. Then we are going to adopt this report. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much, Honorable Member Kate. The Honorable Member, Honorable Member Sapo, I think it is your term. Honorable members, we should not forget that the report that was given by the content advisor is not preventing us to go in the House during our debate and put in the issues, press on whatever we want to see being implemented by SIFA, SIDA, and the department in the House during our debate. I am thankful that all of us are agreeing that this is our report. Over to you, Honorable Sapo.
No, thanks, Chair. Good morning again to members that were not here earlier on. I think, Chair, let's appreciate the report and really appreciate the quality of the report itself. Beyond capturing what we have discussed, I think the team have done very well on that. Just Chair, to say I am comfortable with the recommendations as crafted, but just to say on two things. There's one of the observations that we made regarding the advisory body that was not yet finalized or appointed by the minister. Perhaps we must go as far as wanting to get a progress on that from the minister on how far she is with that process, together, Chair, with the funding policy. I think those are the things we must also try to include. I'm not sure how we're going to capture them, but to also check the status or the progress on both of them from the minister. Other than that, Chair, I think I am comfortable from my side. I would really love to move for the adoption of the report, Chair. Thanks.
Thank you very much, the Honorable Member Sapo. I'm sure our content advisor at the end of all the engagements of the members, he'll then assist us with regard to the status of the progress. Over to the Honorable Member Babalo Matulelo.
Thank you very much, Chairperson. I would like to thank the content advisor for the presentation. Number one, it should reflect in this report the failures of this department and the government to radically address the high concentrated sector that is the market power that is still in the hands of the few after 30 years of democracy. The agriculture, telecommunications, mining, banking, it is still difficult for small businesses, especially Black people in rural and township, to grow and become big sustainable businesses that they call unicorn, like these American companies, Abo Uber and Airbnb and Nezing. Number two, when are we appointing the ombudsman? Because as in the Northern Cape oversight, corruption was revealed there and issues done by the department were raised, which would have been referred to the ombudsman office. Number three is, I want to raise this one. The concerning part is that the National Small Enterprise Law has been passed. It has been almost a year since our public hearings, and it's our responsible obligation to set an example and move speedily on this issue, Chairperson. If we can just do so, why can't we start and finish the process before December so that the department can start setting up the office of the ombuds? Because if ever we don't do this, it will be, they will give reasons of delays. I think we must not part of their delays and all the reasons why this thing must not happen. And then number four, on high vacancy rate, that should reflect in this BRRR. I think it is in the Small Business Development Department report on page 34 and 36. For accuracy, we could record that all targets in program one, there was a high vacancy rate of 23%, 23.7%. Therefore, we must say they did not achieve 100% of its target. The target, according to DPSA, is less than 10% vacancy rate. So their vacancy rate is 23.7%. And that kind of reporting is misleading the committee, serious. And the committee should not regurgitate it. So number five, the AG also raised the concerns about the quality of targets. Therefore, why are we writing in the BRRR that it is what they achieved? because really some of the targets are just about reporting to the minister. It's just about big numbers and some are duplicated. I think a detailed report that says at least it's 4 or 3, because this thing of percentages sometimes also is. I heard the content advisor was saying they've done 4, so that is 60-something%. So percentages as well, they can just mislead us. So we need the percentage to be coupled with a number. If it's 1 and it's 100%, we must know that, because also this thing of vacancy, only the director general is permanent out of let's say out of 10 people, only 1 was achieved. Then when you change it to percentages, I'm telling you, they will give you something that will make you hope that there was something done significantly. So number 6, the department must go back to the drawing board for the next APP. They must come up with quality indicators and targets that follow National Treasurer's guidelines and where impact can be clearly measured, Chairperson. The last input that I want to put in here, I want to say that more needs to be done, Chairperson. We are not even scratching the surface in the credit gap. It's about 350 billion. So we need to, there's more to be done. So that's why I won't blame the content advisor, but with the above being said, I will reject this report. Thank you.
Thank you very much, the Honorable Matulela. With regards to the ombudsperson, there is a serious progress that will end up assisting us. I would request the content advisor or the Honorable Malumaja, when he's going to speak, to touch on it. And with the issue of the high vacancy rate, we have talked about it. It has been indicated in the report, and we would know that there is this change of merging SIFA-SIDA agencies. I'm sure this, at the end of the day, it will end up assisting the department and also to be doing as we have requested with regard to the filling of the vacancies. But let me allow the Honorable Malemaja to come in, and the content advisor be ready to also assist us with the progress done as far as the ombudsperson. Thank you very much. Over to you, the Honorable Member Malemaja.
No, thank you. Thank you very much, Chair. Let me also join the choir to be specific that all members agree that this report is a very comprehensive report, very informative, true reflection of what we stand for, with good vision of where we want to go. We want to thank the team. We want to thank all the members, because when the content advisor started the meeting, he said, this is your work, which really means this is your work. I'm just consolidating. So there's no way you can come and want to turn against your own work. Chairperson, allow me to say, reconcentration of the market power and establishment of an inclusive economy, it is a dream of all South Africans. We, all of us, say we are from the past, we've been impacted by the past. Going forward, we want to see an inclusive economy. Transforming the economy cannot be a one-day thing. Whether we like it or we don't like it, it can never be a one-day thing. This department clearly shows some sign of good foundation, that for us to go where we want to go as the destination, let's start by ensuring that we are accountable in a transparent manner. That was confirmed by the report of the AG when the AG gave clean audit without any findings, all balanced. Now, the department itself continued to say, I will never want to be a referee and a player at the very same time. Proposal of ombudsman, which is now in the hands of implementing, which all of us, we have contributed and will continue to contribute. It's a positive and milestone achievement. The last speaker was talking about queries disputes. We are saying we'll never be a referee and a player. They will be referred to ombudsman. Very positive stance. The match of SIDA and SIFA, when they match, they will ensure that all the shortfalls that we had and were there, not understanding that where we have performed is where the lessons are taken, where we had shortfalls is where we draw some lessons. We'll continue there. So, Chairperson, we are saying, which I did not hear anybody saying no, we are saying, now that the foundation is here, now let's target the impact of a good foundation of this department. And we are not saying it's for somebody, it's not for me. We are saying all of us, we are happy with the report. The report is a true reflection of what we have seen and what we are intending to, and we are happy that the foundation is solid. Therefore, we are pushing for the impact on the ground. That will deal even with the deconcentration of the market itself, the inclusivity in the economy itself. I'm saying, Chair, I want to second Honorable Sapo, who came after other honorable, who said, let's adopt this report. That's the work print that will take us far, and that will make us realizing our vision. With those words, I'm seconding the adoption of this report. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, the Honorable Member Malimacha. I'm sure I managed to cover all the hands. I see, I don't know whether Honorable Carol, is this your legacy hand or it's a new hand? I see the hand of Honorable Carol.
No, it's
Mafagan.
a new hand, Chairperson.
It's a new hand. All right, over to you, ma.
I just wanted
Let me allow you before we take it to our content advisor.
All right, I just wanted to clarify my fellow comrade, Comrade Chris Malimacha. A well-written report does not mean the work is being done. Or commenting the department for capturing a well-written report, it doesn't measure the work on the ground. So I don't want you to capture me correctly. So I said a well-written report. I didn't say the well-done job on the ground. That one is two different things. So, Chairperson, with that said, from MK Party, we do not adopt the report. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Let me allow the content advisor to come back wherever there was questions raised, and then where there was clarity seeking questions. If ever you are able, please clarify, and then we make our way forward. Thank you.
Thank you, Chairperson. Thank you, honorable members. Chair, I am not going to spoil good commentary from members with my own, observation or some of the comments that have been raised by members are general good commentary, progressive commentary. We should embrace them. From Honorable Webster, in particular, there was a clarity-seeking question around 100% achievement of targets, yet there is 19% underspending of finances. I think, Honorable Webster, it's a very difficult question for me to answer because it also intrigues me as to how is this possible. In fact, Chairperson, what I wanted to suggest earlier as well, I've seen other committees doing this, you know, like last night at 8 o'clock in the evening, there was a meeting, a portfolio committee meeting of, I think it was water and sanitation. Chairperson, some committees are meeting outside of their allocated slots because of the amount of work that they are supposed to cover. I actually wanted to suggest this thing, Chairperson, to you during Menko yesterday to say, from where I'm sitting, I'm seeing a huge amount of work that this committee needs to do, at least before you adopt the strategic plan, number 1, of the department, and also before you adopt the APP of the department next year. You know, the most unfortunate part is the way how we executive and parliament work is, you know, due to this separation of power doctrine, we should allow a department to run their affairs without being interfered with. For instance, that would include that the department, I mean, the process where the department starts crafting their APPs has already begun. By the time they finalize these APPs next year, March, and they refer them to Parliament, you then only discover around April next year that no, you are not happy with this APP or you are not happy with this strat plan. You know, other committees have actually rejected the strat plan or demanded that it be amended. Other committees have rejected the APPs and demanded that they be amended. It's one area, honorable members, that we could look into in terms of the strat plans and APPs going forward, because the one that we are working on, which is the current MTSF and the APP that is expiring on the 31st of March next year, 2025, there is little or nothing we can do about that. Some of the targets that are there, really, like I indicated earlier, the AG have actually raised concerns about those targets. So the onus is on us now to make sure that going forward, the strat plans that are delivered to Parliament and the APP, they speak to the issues that we have highlighted in this report. That, for instance, the indicators, we want to measure the impact of the indicators in terms of 1, 2, 3. We want the indicators that speaks to the issue of inequality. The triple challenges that are facing the country. One is inequality, for instance. We need to track the Gini coefficient. If the interventions that by the department are they actually addressing the issues of inequality? We measure the Gini coefficient. We track the poverty. Are the areas that have been identified by Stats SA, the interventions by the department reaching those areas? And are the interventions by the department making any changes in those areas that have been identified as having been affected by poverty, as mentioned by Stats SA? From where I'm sitting, Chairperson, I think this is the sort of the gauge or the instrument that we need to follow going forward. I'm glad Parliament is agreeing with us on this one. You know, Secretary to Parliament have been saying, we really need to use the data going forward. You know, we cannot just be all over in terms of trying to make a difference in the communities. So that's my approach, Chairperson, that we maybe as a committee, we can look at a scenario where maybe outside of the parliamentary slot, we continue to engage as the committee, and we also invite the department to engage, to ensure that the final product that will be tabled to Parliament come March next year, you know, we all agree on that particular product, rather than be surprised during the budget vote process and be expected to adopt the strategic plan or APP of the department. That's the one area of looking at it, Chairperson. Honorable Webster also touched on the issue of the poor quality performance indicators. It's an issue that UAG has raised as well. It's an issue that this committee has actually raised in the past to say we need a different method of crafting our. In fact, one honorable member once said, rather than having, assisting 20,000. I don't know whether you call them beneficiaries or informal traders or companies or cooperatives. Rather than having 20,000, you might as well have 5 that will achieve the country's objectives. You may have 5 that will show you the actual employment that they are creating. And you might have 5 that will show you their contribution in terms of economic growth or the contribution of the geographic they call it GGP in the particular areas where they operate. So there's I don't know, I don't have a definitive answer on this one, Honorable Webster, to say this is how we should do it, but we really need to assist the department in terms of crafting the performance indicators that speaks to the issues that are facing the country, which is the triple challenge of inequality, poverty, and unemployment. On Honorable Ngobeni, Honorable Molotsane, it was just an appreciation that the department achieved clean audit. On Honorable Ngobeni, it's around the issues of PIPAs. Honorable members, the PIPAs, these are provincial investment promotions agency. Each and every province has its own PIPA. There is one in Northwest, which is called Northwest Development Corporation. There are serious issues here, honorable members. There is one in Free State. I remember Honorable Molotsane spoke about the Free State Development Corporation, that it's chaos. There are very few PIPAs like Westgrow in Western Cape that are really fully functional and fulfilling their mandate. I know also in KZN, there is Trade and Investment KwaZulu-Natal, which is really doing a fantastic work. There is also a JEDA in Gauteng, a Gauteng Economic Development Agency, which, I believe it's doing a good work. But other PIPAs, they are really, really struggling. Like we observed in Northern Cape, NEDA, they just struggled to appoint a consultant to conduct training on behalf of the beneficiaries. Hence, we are saying, rather than outsourcing some of these functions to PIPAs, the department must consider insourcing these programs or maybe using SETFA going forward to implement some of its programs. So, in Northwest Development Corporation, it's one of those that are really not in good books. The property we visited in Northwest last week, in Northern Cape, it is under the management of a Northwest Development Corporation, purely because that area, it's on the border of a Northwest in Northern Cape. But in the past, that area used to fall under Ibo Putatswana. But with the new demarcation, that area is now under a Northern Cape. However, the properties are still managed by a government entity of Northwest. It's the same scenario we have with the Garankuwa Business Industrial Chamber I referred to earlier on. That Garankuwa properties, they fall within the border of Gauteng, and they are now under Gauteng, but they are still being managed by Northwest Development Corporation. So most of the entities, under Northwest Development Corporations, they are complaining that they would rather be under, for instance, the Garankuwa Industrial Development Chamber. They want those properties to be transferred to the Provincial Department of Public Works in Gauteng. Same thing with the Northern Cape. So it's an issue, honorable members, that maybe as a portfolio committee, we will have to deal with going forward, including some of the CIFA properties. CIFA owns some of the properties all over. There are others in Joburg. I believe before I joined this committee, BRRR, a committee visited some of those properties in Gauteng, and there were issues around those properties. Also, the same one in Garankuwa, there are SIFA properties in Garankuwa that are badly managed. So it's a number of issues around the SIFA properties. Hence, we are making a recommendation here to say SIFA must focus on its mandate of providing access to finance for SMMEs and cooperatives instead of straggling over a property portfolio and also struggling over a financial portfolio. It's a recommendation we are making, honorable members. We need to make time maybe and discuss this further going forward. Honorable Mafachane, I hear you that on paper, it will look as if the department is doing good work, but when you go on the ground, it's a different story altogether. I think, again, it boils down to how we craft the key performance indicators. Rather than having these 20,000 and tick them as having been the target achieved, let's rather focus maybe on, say, 100 SMMEs and cooperatives and make sure that we guide them, we handhold them until they reach a scenario or a state where they employ, they contribute to, tax revenue, etc., etc. So that's my view, honorable members. In terms of the Ombudsman Chair, what I'm going to present to King. In fact, we had a light discussion yesterday, but what we need to do next week, now that there's been a referral to the Speaker of Parliament, I think we need to come up with a project plan, King, that we will present to the members of the committee in terms of the process, the same way we do when we visit the provinces and do public participation. There is always a plan with regards, how we do public participation. I think on this one, King, me and you will sit down and craft a plan that we'll present to the members of the committee. I'm assuming also that plan might actually impact on the program that the portfolio committee has just adopted. But it's a matter that we'll discuss next week, Chairperson. For now, on the Ombudsman, I can only say, yes, give us a chance, maybe a week. Next week, we'll come up and present a plan of action in terms of how that process will be facilitated going forward. Honorable Matulelo, the high vacancy rate, you are correct. I did mention this in the report, that the department, when it reported in its annual report, it said under program 1, it achieved all of its targets. That is not entirely correct, because if the threshold is 10%, if the vacancy rate must be reduced below 10%, that was not the case with the department as of 31 March 2024. So we are raising that in the report. Also including other misrepresentations, honorable members. For instance, that in the report under program 2 and 3, it's only TIKZN and Free State Development Corporations that are mentioned, but NEDA is not mentioned. Yet during our visit, we discovered that one of the beneficiaries was not assisted because of NEDA. It's one of the issues in the report that I have actually included. It's there, Honorable Matulelo. So there is no issue, honorable members, that we have left behind. If there is any issue that members feel maybe that was left behind, like I indicated at the beginning of my presentation, that it's your report. You are at liberty to make, any contribution. If you want to include anything under observation, we can do that. If you want me to, make an additional recommendation, we can also do that. It's your report at the end of the day. Chairperson, others really were not necessarily questioned, unless if maybe, one from Honorable Sapo around the advisory board. If you go through under section 3, honorable members, we made this recommendation in 2023. The response from the department or the minister was that they will be working on appointing the advisory board. It's there, you can read there for yourself. We are making this recommendation again, honorable members, because it has not been implemented. The appointment of the advisory board is contained in the Act. It's the Act, and in terms of that, it should be implemented. If maybe there is a change of heart or mind from the department to say they are not going to implement it, it will mean that the Act should also be revised so that we remove the clauses or articles that speaks to the appointment of the advisory board. In terms of the SMME and cooperative funding policy, it was an MTSF target for 2019-2024. The department has failed to implement this one. I'm sure it will also be included in the next strategic planning 2025 to 2030. That's my assumption. But the department is working on it. But the correct way of going about it, they will have to include it in their next strategic plan and APP next year. And unless, Chairperson, if maybe there is maybe one or two questions that have not answered adequately, others really from my own observation were just inputs or comments from members. Let me pause there for now, Chair. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable, our content advisor. Thank you, Gumede. I think the way you tried to respond and cover all the questions raised by the honorable members, I was also noting down here. Maybe if ever there is something that you do not talk to, we'll see by an indication of a hand. And I am happy also that this is our report, we own it. And then to the honorable members who moved that we should adopt this report, I am so thankful, and there was also a support because this gives us a leeway to go and talk about our report when we debate in the House. The community out there, they will know that at least now we have representatives in this portfolio committee of small business development who will speak on our behalf. So I really want to appreciate that. And the other thing, in our tenure, we are so fortunate because we are not going to have a stumbling block of COVID-19 and so on and so on. How you encourage us to work outside of Parliament, we are really taking that content advisor, and we will push, come rain, come sunshine. We will push and we will work. At the end of this term, we would have seen changes. And I am happy that the office of the Speaker has now referred the issue of the ombudsperson to the committee. We would request that the office of the secretary of this committee should make sure that they assist the committee without a delay. We really want to see us having the ombudsperson, especially with what we have seen. And this is our recommendation. If we are succeeding with our recommendations, I think we should pat ourselves on the shoulders that we are doing something. At least there is something that we are doing. Like the issue of the high vacancy rate. I remember one of the responses was that now that the match is complete, then we are going to make sure that we respond to the issue of this vacancy rate. And this also allows us to go and debate on this issue when we are in there. I'm happy that we have 11 official languages. I'm sure if ever maybe my points are not going to be heard with another language, I can simply shift to my Sepedi language and speak. And I'm sure this will end up giving us a way forward, which will be positive and which will end up assisting our people. So on that note, honorable members, we had Honorable Sapo adopting and Honorable Chris Malimacha seconding the adoption. We also noted, let me say, I note the rejection of the EFF from Honorable Matulela and the rejection of the MK party from the Honorable Mafarani. So on that note, I'll take it that we managed to adopt our own report. Thank you very much, honorable members. We are now moving forward with our program. Secretary, we are going to adopt the minutes of the committee. Over to you, sir. Dr. King? Okay, thank you very much. Okay, thank you very much. Honorable members, we are now going to adopt our draft minutes. I'm going to request that we check on page 1. If ever there is something that needs to be rectified here, we can rectify it. Okay, the other page. This was our page 2. Now we are on page 3. That was our page 3, and now we are moving over to page 4. And that was the end of our minutes. This is the last page. Thank you very much. Can I see by a show of hand? I see the Honorable Matsulo Molozani. Over to you, Honorable Matsulo.
Thank you, Chairperson. I propose that we adopt the minutes.
There is a proposal, honorable members. Can I see by a show of hand if ever there's anyone who's supporting the move of our minutes? I see Honorable Sapo.
Thanks, Chair. I do support the move of the adoption of the minutes.
Thank you very much. We have moved and adopted the minutes of our meeting, which we held on the 11th of September 2024. It was the meeting was held, and then we had a meeting from 9:30 up until the end. So thank you very much, honorable members, for adopting our minutes. Dr. King, we now move over to the other minutes whereby we had our meeting on the 18th of September. We started at 9:30 up to 1 o'clock, and the venue was in Parliament. Yes, we are on page 1. Okay. Moving to another page. I'm done with page 2. We are now on page 3. Then it's page 3, and then we are now on page 4. Thank you, Secretary. Done with page 4. We're now on page 5. We're done with page 5. Now on the closing remarks on page 6. Yes. We're still on page 5. It's the end of page 5. Yeah. All right, honorable members, over to you. I see the hand of Comrade Shara Singh.
Thank you. Thank you, Chair. I just do want to find out. I think it's under number 5, under deliberations, the second paragraph, where it says, due to time constraints, the committee resolved that responses should be done in writing. Chair, if I'm not mistaken, we were supposed to have got those responses. They committed to those responses within 7 days. That was my recollection, and I think it's important that we actually state that, that we amended to say that the responses should be done in writing within 7 days, because we must now hold them accountable because we did not receive any of those responses, Chair. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Singh. I agree with you. I agree. Yes, I've seen the hand of Nkosili Tuli. Is it you?
Yes, his hand was up, but I wanted to respond to what has been raised by Honorable Singh.
Yes, I thought maybe it's the one who was calling. I did not notice that it was you. That is why I'm saying the honorable member is right. We need a response, and I was going to call on you, Secretary, to assist us in this regard. Over to you, sir.
Yes, Chair. Apologies that were not circulated. My thoughts were that after we have adopted these minutes, then because the department did send the responses in writing. Let me confirm that. Then I thought maybe after adopting these minutes, then they would be circulated to members.
Okay. Honorable Singh, at least we have received the responses. The only thing is that the secretary was waiting for us to adopt the minute. But I have a request, Secretary. Can you please assist the committee tomorrow whenever you receive the responses? You don't wait for us to adopt the minutes. You give us those responses so that we check on them. Will that be fine?
Yes, Chair. Okay.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. Honorable Singh will receive the responses. I see the hand of Honorable Sapo. Over to you, ma'am.
No, thanks, Chair. While I agree with your ruling, it's just that I raised my hand before you ruled on that, because I don't think we must let it slide just like that. If ever the response was submitted to the committee support team, we're supposed to receive those responses as soon as they are sent to us. I don't think it was correct for them to wait up until this particular moment to adopt the minute. Now, I would imagine if the department was here and we are told that the responses were not given to us, it was going to be a different case. But I'm comfortable, Chair, with the ruling that you have made. Thanks.
And what about somebody moved for the adoption of the minutes? What do you say?
I think it
It's supported.
Wanted.
Hello?
I thought Nkos wanted to say something, Chair, because it has been showing his video.
Okay. Let's allow Nkosi Luthuli. Nkosi, we've seen your hands here, but
Thank you,
now you
Chair.
have lowered it. Yes.
Chair. Colleagues, and my aim was to say the minutes is a true reflection of what we have been deliberated on, Chair, please.
Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, sir. So we're done with these minutes. There was a mover and a supporter. Thank you, Secretary. We are in your hands. Dr. King?
Yes, Chair.
Yeah, we'll request that immediately we're done with these minutes, with this meeting. You then favor us with those responses. We want to see and check on them. If ever maybe there's anything that was left out, then we are able to go back to the department.
Noted, Chair.
Okay, you can bring back the agenda. Favor us with the agenda again. Thank you very much. Honorable members, that was our last item on the agenda. And then now we have arrived on our closing remarks and the closure of the meeting. I would request that the way we are working, we keep it up like this, and then we'll end up assisting our people at the end of the day. This was a fruitful meeting, and the engagement was good, and the contribution. Thank you very much. This is much appreciated. And on that note, we have
Chair.
arrived. Hello?
Sorry, Chair.
Yes?
It's me. There's a last
Okay,
set.
Secretary.
There's a last set that there's a last set of minutes, Chair, that we need to do the one of the 16th of October.
Is it appearing on the program?
Yes.
Okay. I did not notice. Let's go to the minutes. Next time, don't go on a break with regard to the minutes. Whenever we adopt, you must bring the other one up until we finish.
Can you see them, Chair?
Still waiting. We can only see you and your former parliament. That was banned. Or is this the NCOP building? That's what we can see.
Can you see, Chair?
Not yet. I can only see what you have stored in your computer. Now it's coming, yes. At least now it is here. This is the minutes that we have before us. We had a meeting on Wednesday, the 16th October 2024. The meeting was on virtual. Yes, we are on page 1. And now on page 2. Page 3. Page 4. Page 5. That was the last page. Thank you very much. Any mover, honorable members? The Honorable Member Matsulo Molotsani.
Thank you, Chairperson. I move for the adoption of the
minutes. Thank you very much, Honorable Matsulo Molotsani.
Chairperson, my hands is also up.
It's invisible.
Ka tumelelo ya hao, Chairperson, ke a mo tlaleletša ke re ke a dumela le nna.
Re a leboga Ntate Malemacha, letsogo la gona ka mo le be le sa bonale. Ma re a leboga. So re fitlhile mafelelong. We have arrived at the end of our meeting then. Allow me, honorable members, to say the meeting is adjourned.
Sorry, Chair.
I hear you.
Honorable
Yes,
Ma-
Honorable Matulelo, over to you, ma'am.
Honorable Malimacha is seconding while he was absent. Number 1. Number 2, note my rejection of the report. The EFF rejection of the report. Thank you.
Okay, Honorable Matulela, I'm sure you did not hear me when I was noting the rejection of the report from the EFF and the rejection of the report from MK by Carol. I've said that. Are you referring to the BRRR report?
Yes, yes.
Oh,
yes.
that one is done and dusted. We have noted your rejection.
Thank you.
Honorable Malemacha, it is said we were not in the meeting. Can we get somebody who was present in the meeting to support the mover? Of the minutes. I can't see a hand. Hello?
Chairperson, this visual meeting where the attendance register says I was there, why, according to the latter speaker who's disputing my attendance and the seconding of the matter?
And I can see your name, yes, you attended.
Yeah, I normally keep records of the meeting I attend. That's why I did that. And if I was not there, I would not do.
Okay, it is clear, Honorable Matulelwa. If you check on the names of the members who attended, it was Honorable Dehali, Honorable Malemacha Sapo, Honorable Bilankulu, Honorable Molotsani. So the Honorable Malemacha is right. He was in the meeting. Thank you very much. The meeting is adjourned.
Matshudelo, ninga isilama ninga right.
I'm contesting this whip.
Oh, man, thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Have a good day.
Recording stopped.